Ready? Hi, everybody. I'm Aubrey. We are back here at Redacted. We've been talking a lot with Metapool about the Enterprise Nodes Operator Program and the partners that they've kind of been bringing in to NEAR Protocol because of that. And we have another amazing one here with us today. Lorenzo, would you like to introduce yourself to the world?
Hi there. I'm Lorenzo. I'm one of the founders of Colossus. Colossus is a company that had quite a journey. So we started as a validator. Our first customer asked us to execute a market neutral staking strategy, which meant taking a token, staking the token, finding a regulated entity that can hold that token in custody and using the same token as a collateral for a hedging position. So of course that meant setting up validated nodes, which we did, and then we started looking for a custodian that could support the tokens that we wanted to stake. And that's where we realized that there's an opportunity because custody solution providers, so the software platforms that do this job, don't have a lot of integration with staking. And so we became a custodian by accident. So we bought a Fireblocks license. We started working with the first custody solution, and we developed the platform, which is what we needed. And that's how we got to where we are today. So we are today the only player that's in this space that is just concentrating on the connection between custody and validation.
Wow. And is that something you guys understood when Metapool kind of took them on as a participant? You know that they're the only people doing this right now. Did you guys understand that when they started participating with you guys?
Well, yes, because also we do liquid staking, and on liquid staking, when you are looking for where you can bring the stake, you face this kind of challenge. Like, surely there are like amateur people that is interested on Web3 ecosystem. They go to any exchange, buy a couple of tokens, they go to the wallet, they go directly to our site and do the stake. And we have many retailers, stakers on that sense. But when you are talking this with big financial institutions, with big companies or organizations that are interested to participate on Web3 or in crypto, or even, let's say, limit this to staking, you are facing like many regulatory challenges around that. What license do you have? What is the law framework that you are facing? Well, how are you using custody, or if you are making your own custody, or you are using a third provider, and these tokens are yours or are from somebody else, that can make like this kind of challenge. So yeah, but that's an history that we knew since the beginning of Metapool 3 years ago. So when we met people like Colossus and all other people that had the same challenge, so really like we feel like like sharing the industry, like sharing the challenge that we all have when trying to manage digital assets. So that's something that we know, and we like the way that they were handling all these challenges around the industry. And again, the Enterprise Operators Program brings the opportunity to bring these talents inside of the ecosystem, provide support, and we can start having all this experience shared with the ecosystem. So yeah, the short answer is yes. We knew about that, and we are happy to have this kind of experience inside of the program.
And by participating in this program with Metapool, was that your introduction to NEAR?
Exactly. So we actually got introduced to Metapool at one of these events through the NEAR Foundation, and that's how we started working together. And so that also gave us a bit of a retail angle, because of course, setting up the validator nodes, we're running about 250 validator nodes validating on 25 chains. But with NEAR, we like the project very much. We like the chain abstraction. There is institutional interest in the chain. And so what we're doing is that also together with the foundation is looking to enable and to simplify access to two main things. When you are a holder of a crypto asset and you are an early investor, two things you want to do. One is earn yield, and the other one is exercise governance. And these are two things that we enable from custody. And so that's kind of what we bring to the table. And of course, now also with the restaking part, all of that, we already are supporting ETH restaking, Solana restaking. So we will extend all of the restaking. And again, we do this just by building the transaction crafters. and the transaction is crafted in the platform, and it is then signed by the custody signer of your choice. So that's what the custodians sign it however they like to sign, with whatever transaction authorization policy they have. We just craft a transaction, so our APIs have no signing capability, no moving capability. We are only initiating, and then the signing is done within the solution.
Do you guys have right now, you think like this first great goal on the horizon?
Well, the great goal that we have today is that once that we have established the platform, which is what we have done today, we are basically going to market, piggybacking off the validators that are looking to get assets from such and such an institution, or such and such a custodian that is looking to stake his assets and doesn't have the capabilities or hasn't developed the middle layer. And even when they do, because I mean, a lot of custodians, a lot of validators have designed these transaction crafters, but every time there's a soft fork, now you're a validator, you're validating 35, 40 chains. Every time there's a soft fork, there's an upgrade. Sometimes you have to rewrite these commands because there's things that change. And so that's where we come in with a focused team of people that are just actively making sure that the APIs are always up to speed and doing what.
And how big is the Colossus team right now?
The Colossus team is about 18 people,
Wow.
15 developers. So
Nice.
take the founders away, basically all developers. And you know, we're the ones going out there and doing business development. So now it's a sprint of going as fast as possible to market, and enabling the institutional assets to flow freely.
Well,
That's where.
the biz dev part of it is very important and necessary. And I think we talked about that these kind of conferences and live events facilitate that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is this your guys' first time interfacing IRL together with Metapool?
No, we met Metapool in Istanbul last year.
Oh, nice.
So,
Okay.
with Claudio there, and we've been working ever since. And you know, with the partnership that we have is okay, building what we did, but then also distributing the knowledge. So writing posts about what we do, and being, you know, active in the community in doing some education, because getting institutional assets, or even retail assets, it's all about education.
Yes.
People need to understand what they're doing. This is a nice and transparent industry, but for as much as it's transparent, you need to be able to read what you're being exposed. And so being transparent isn't enough when the transparency doesn't give you the comfort of understanding what you're reading. And so that's where, you know, we're doing our bit in helping out. For example, the last article that we did, or the next one that's coming, is all about a transaction lens that we created, because when we are in the API raw signing realm, you are doing blind signing, and blind signing, nobody wants to do blind signing, for as much as retail has been used to doing blind signing for years. But instead, in institutional space, you want to do it clear. So what we have created is a transaction lens that before every transaction, we have the clear payload, the clear transaction, payload, and the hash. And you can recompute that hash in other systems so that you have mathematical proof that whatever you're signing is what you want to sign. And so that is the kind of things that we bring to the community, because that is the development that we do. And of course, we give out through our GitHub to the community so that they can have access and they can use the tools that we built.
I mean, you guys have such a dev-heavy focused community, it sounds like. Are there sort of growing pains there with people who may not be as, you know, tech-heavy, or do you find that your community is very tech-heavy?
Well, the community is tech-heavy. The customers are less tech-heavy, and that's where the real challenge is, and making sure that the customers have the comfort of understanding what they're doing. And so especially in the institutional space, you have people coming in, but not really coming in from a tech space. So you have to make things easy for them. And that's why everything that we do, the UI that we've created, is a super slick AI, a UI which shows you step after step what you're doing and explains to you what's happening.
Wow. So Colossus could actually be a great onboarding tool in general
Oh yeah, yes,
for non-tech heavy people. I just
exactly.
think that that's so important too. I think we can get so caught up in these programs and just forget that the educational part of it is some people know nothing, and some people don't. I don't think people need to know everything, you know? People do not need to know how everything operates, but
I mean, I think we all have examples in our hands. You know, your phone that you have is super complex, but you use, all the features and stuff just happens in the background, which is the same thing. But now this is the blockchain. There's transactions. There's a lot of capital going on that, so it needs to be simple. But you always need to check what you're doing at every step.
Nice. Like, what do you think is like the best thing about NEAR so far that you've noticed?
Well, I mean, NEAR, we very much like the chain abstraction side. That's something that we're very excited about. And also now the interaction with the AI is something that we also think is as important, and it's got a great community. So we are trying to make it also more an institutional community. And that's a totally different ball game with different communities and different people.
Yes.
But I mean, the project has the size that it takes for it to be interesting for institutions, because institutions need market depth, derivatives, liquidity, and it's all there. So that's why we're very excited that this is going to be a big project in the institutional space.
Yeah, and you guys participating in these types of events is so important because you really get an inside look at where NEAR is going. And
Absolutely.
for anyone who's maybe at home and not able to make it to these conferences, like, is there any insight or wisdom that you'd like to give them that you've kind of seen? Maybe
Well, what
some
I like
alpha.
to do, the only alpha I have in going to conferences is that I take, a month before I go to any place, I try and have meetings with the people that I'm going to meet before I meet them.
Oh, that's good alpha.
Because that is the way that here, you interact, you're not a deep fake thing, that you're actually a human being, and, you've been there, everybody knows you. And that's important to give the comfort to the community that you are real. And try and get as much work done before. Most of these communities have great platforms where you interact with everybody else, be it Telegram, be it Discord, be it Brella, or whatever platform the event uses, and use that for the networking. That's very important.
Nice. And how about you guys? Any like final words about Colossus and how you see this partnership kind of spanning out in the near future?
Yeah, I mean, for the case of Colossus, we are interested like to make more easy for institutional clients to become part of the ecosystem. So that's like the big challenge that we need to solve all around this, because I know there are people outside there making questions around how they can participate in all of this industry, and we need to make it easy for them. So based on all what Colossus is providing an ecosystem, I think this is one big opportunity for all the parties involved. I'm well excited to see what is the final outcome of this.
Well, I know that when we see the next trend of institutional clients kind of coming into NEAR, it's going to be probably because of Colossus.
Yeah. Well, we
and
hope so. I mean, we're at the tipping point of institutions coming on board. I mean, you're talking about a $2.1 trillion industry that has $500 billion locked in custody. So that's enough of that. And of course, then with the recent events, I'm sure that the overall market will grow even more. And so, and most of it is going to be in licensed custodians. So there's big opportunity.
It's an exciting.
We look forward to doing this with the community.
Well, thank you so much for sitting
Thank
down
you.
with us and explaining. And we will be back with more guests at Redacted.
Thank you.